Hey Big Bean, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're putting the almighty Baratza Encore against the 1zpresso J-Max. Let's see how these two completely different grinders compare to each other, and hopefully, by the end of this video, we will help you choose one of these as your next investment for your coffee bar. Before we begin, you might be thinking, how the fuck does it make sense to compare a manual grinder to an electric one? And to be honest, I would probably think the exact same thing. But before you decide to stop watching this video and watch cat videos instead, hear me out. Let's imagine you're looking for your first grinder and you have a budget of around $200. There's plenty of choice in the market for a grinder within that price range, and the Encore might be the most obvious and popular choice. But what if, instead of the convenience of an electric grinder, you chose a manual grinder that might actually do a better job with some compromises? So that's why we're making this video with the goal to answer one big question. Are you better off buying an entry-level electric grinder for convenience or a mid-range manual grinder for performance? I'll base this comparison video on 5 very simple things that I'll be looking into. First, we'll have a look at the prices. Then we'll check out the burrs. Next, we're gonna compare grinding times. Then we'll use our cheap eBay coffee sieve to measure the amount of fines each grinder produces. Finally, we'll brew 2 cups of coffee using the V60 pour-over dripper and pick the better tasting cup in a blind tasting comparison. With that being said, I think we can get into it. The Baratza Encore is a real bang for buck deal in the entry-level electric grinder space, coming in hot at just $170 on Amazon.com. Over here in Australia, it costs around 275 Aussie dollars, although every now and then you can get one for much cheaper on sale. The J-Max is slightly more expensive than the Encore, with a price tag of $200 on Amazon and 319 Aussie dollars on the Coffee Goods website. Both the Encore and the J-Max have a conical burr set, but that's where the similarities end. The Encore comes with 40mm stainless steel burrs that are pretty much good for all brewing methods. On Baratza's website, you'll find that they say it can grind fine enough for espresso, but that's only partially true. You can find out more about the Encore's espresso grinding capabilities in this video above my head right here. The J-Max has a 48mm titanium coated burr set out of the box, optimized for espresso grinding, but also performs extremely well for every other brewing method you can imagine. The grinding range and adjustability of this grinder is crazy good. If you want to watch our review of the J-Max when we first got it, you can do that by clicking the link above my head right here. In order to compare grind times with both grinders, what I'm going to do is take 12.5 grams of the same coffee and grind it for pour over. The grind size is going to be around 600 microns, and that means the Encore is going to be set on number 22 and the J-Max on number 235. Alrighty guys, we have 4 cups of coffee here. 2 of these were ground with the Encore, 2 of these were ground with the J-Max. Madeline mixed them up and so on, so I have no idea which one's which. The coffee we're using is a Colombian coffee, washed anaerobic fermentation process, roasted by El Parch. The gentleman that owns the roastery is called Jorge, so big shout out to him. He always has delicious coffee. Yeah, we're just gonna try and see if I can actually pick up any difference in these cups of coffee. There wasn't a huge variance in brewing times, although while the drawdown, the coffee ground by the Encore was obviously less uniform in size, so you could see a lot of boulders being stuck on the wall of the V60 paper while the drawdown, as I said before. Other than that, the J-Max coffee was brewed at around 2 minutes 10 seconds. The coffee ground by the Encore brewed at around 2 minutes and 20 seconds. This one is just hollow for some reason. Or I mean, it doesn't taste as bad as it seems, as my face is portraying it to be, but it definitely tastes much worse than this cup of coffee. So there we have it. It's interesting, despite the fact it's the same coffee, similar brewing times, it seems that the way the coffee is ground and the size of the coffee particles obviously play a huge role in the way the coffee extracts and at the end of the day, the way the coffee tastes. So I'm gonna do one more round. Let's see if I got it right. I'm gonna put these 2 aside, this one here, and maybe go another time just in case. I really don't want to embarrass myself in front of the camera, although who knows. This one. On a second thought, what I did there, as you saw, is swapped it. The coffees are kinda becoming similar in taste as they're cooling down. But what I'm gonna say is this one, probably ground with the J-Max, probably. This one with the Encore. And the reason why I'm saying this is because these 2 cups of coffee are very sweet, very well balanced, and to be honest, they kind of taste the same way as my coffee usually tastes on a daily basis, because most of the time I'm using the J-Max for pour over. And I actually haven't been using the Encore that much since getting the J-Max. So I probably have gotten used to my coffees just being a bit more extracted, a bit sweeter, a bit just better and tastier. Whereas on the other hand, these 2 cups of coffee kind of remind me of the coffee I used to drink before getting the J-Max, when I used to grind with the Encore on a daily basis. They don't taste bad, to be honest. It's just, they're kind of hollower compared to these. They taste less sweet, less balanced. There is less body to them. So I'm guessing there's just less extraction in general. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm basing my decision on. Yeah, J-Max, Encore here. Madeline?
That's right.
Fucking hell. I'm a professional. As you can see, this was as unbiased as it could be, although I kind of know how the J-Max coffee tastes like. This kind of proves that within the price range of around $200 US, you could get a manual grinder, compromise a bit of that convenience you get from an electric grinder where you just turn off on a button and the grinder grinds, and get a manual grinder. You're gonna crank up a bit, you know, you're gonna do a bit of exercise every morning or literally every day, depending on how much coffee you're drinking. But the cup quality is definitely noticeable. On the other hand, I'd say that Encore would be for the type of person who literally wakes up and wants to turn on a button, have their coffee ground, is not worried too much about getting the most out of their coffee. So they're probably thinking, this is just good enough. You know, this coffee just good enough, which the Encore is obviously very capable of just grinding a good enough cup of coffee. It's also very durable. I've had mine for probably well over 3 years now, I guess, and it had an electrical fire. It did something, I think the burr holder broke. But the interesting part is parts are very cheap and parts are very easy to get. So that way, when you get the parts, it's easy to install them yourself, which means you're saving money because you're not gonna pay a technician to do it for you. And that's just a good deal in my opinion. So for a bit less than $200, you're getting a good grinder that you can service yourself, parts are accessible, and you're just getting a very nice cup of coffee. Now, obviously, me being the type of person who wants to get the most out of their coffee, I've been using the J-Max literally on a daily basis. So that's my go-to grinder for everything pour over related. I'm using the Sete 270 as my espresso grinder, although sometimes when I feel like it, I use the J-Max as an espresso grinder as well, because it's obviously designed for espresso, but can be used for pour over methods. So I am inclined on using the J-Max and would definitely choose the J-Max over the Encore, but I kind of understand the people who would choose the Encore just because of the convenience. You know, it's an electrical grinder, it's easy to use, as I said, and I don't see anything wrong with the people who actually choose the Encore because it's just good, you know? And yeah, those are my 2 cents on this topic. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, but what I would say is they both serve their own purpose. There we have it, friends. That's about it for today. Let me know in the comments about your thoughts on this comparison video. Please tell me if you have any of these 2 grinders and share your experience with them. I also hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully will help you make a good choice for your future grinder. Press the like button if we did and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In case you want to support our channel and what we do here, the best way to do that is to head over to our Teespring shop and buy yourself some dope-ass Classic Gang merch. Or if you just want to leave us a little tip in the tip jar, click the PayPal link down below and drop a couple of coins in there. As always, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.